Yo, what's up, good people? Welcome to the show, Mind, Body, and Hustle. Like we always say on the show, a smart person learns from their own mistakes, and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. Like I promised you guys, there will always be a special guest ready to enlighten you guys and put you guys on game. Today, I've got a very special guest for you guys. He goes by the name of Tebza, but I'm not going to introduce him. He's going to introduce himself to you guys. Tebza, you say 1, 2.
Aha, yeah, that was a warm welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you for inviting me to your studio, bro. Thank you for giving love to the Manhood. I feel like home already. Tebza the name Liluma La Holoko. Kasasutu. La Holoko. Like I'm a certain time.
Okay. The Tagaza how you doing? Tebza Holoko. You know?
Hey, I'm a jazz kid, man. Why shall we go through this?
Go back.
Hey, rapper, one time.
So my king, what's up, bro? Tell me about you. Like, obviously, the people viewing at home, they don't really know who Tebza is. Tell me about who you are, where you grew up, and how was your childhood? Mom, dad, and you know those vibes. Like, so we can understand the background knowledge of who are you.
Okay. I'm the best storyteller to tell that.
Okay.
I'm from East Rand. Yeah, Far East. Leondale. So Leondale is surrounded by Jamestown. To go deeper, Spruit, which is Katlehong, Questas from there. Forslow, Leondale, Bonang is from there. Slick is from there. So we have to be more detailed of the place. So Spruit View, if you know White House,
I know
White House, people don't want to sleep until AMs. Yeah.
Funny story. I'll tell you that because I was there at like 6 a.m. and it was like still lights on, vibes, you know, Nigerian bouncers, you know.
Yeah, because most clubs would be like close at like 2 o'clock or like, you know, but they like after 2 you still have like your vibes, man, until like 8 a.m. People would go like, and plus it's close to a shopping complex or shopping center, like so people would be like, hey, going to morning and be like, hey, I'm still here.
Going to work.
Yeah.
I can understand.
So that's where I'm from, and
that's
beautiful.
That's the East. So what do you do right now for a living?
I work for a financial institute. Work for a financial institute.
What's your job?
Banking. So I won't mention the name, but
what's your job? Like,
I'm a bank consultant.
What does that mean for like? Okay, just explain to me like I was a baby. Like my baby, this is what I do. Like, what is a bank consultant?
I solution people's financial problems.
Pure maths.
No, like to put it in like, yeah, you understand that. I mean, for instance, you and I, like, you just graduated, so I'll introduce the simplest basic products that you can like start with in terms of like the type of accounts that you should have, the investment portfolios, the rates in terms of what properties you can like, you know, like what's good for you, like looking to
based on you like your
based
salary,
on like your any portfolio, like, or your any bracket and like all that, and then depending on the family needs or your personal needs as an individual, then so basically we break it down to a needs analysis, and then we give you a suitable product that is suitable to your needs. So that's me on the workspace.
Okay. And where did you study? Like what did you study? What did you have to study to be what you are right now?
What's funny is that I did entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, like the business course, like entrepreneurship, like the TT. But though I dropped it out.
You dropped out? Okay.
Yeah, due to financial circumstances, and then I had to have a child in between, and then I got a part-time job, like a job in between, and then I furthered my studies as well. I started doing banking with the financial. I had friends as well who we studied a construction company with. It was called Evolving Project.
You started a construction company?
Yeah. It was 4 of us. It was my homeboys. We were homeboys, so and then meanwhile I was doing a banking like course as well, and then with Park. so Milpark is a financial institution for banks. Yeah, it was as a financial institution.
Man, you start a construction company.
Yeah.
You should give me a job.
Yeah.
Yo, so like what we always say on the show, a smart person learns from their own mistakes and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So Tebza, put me on game, bro. You know, there's a story that you have to share with us that I feel like if my viewers at home could see that, they could change a couple of life decisions, and as well it'll help them handle a couple of life decisions. So what I want to know from you is, share with me your story. What happened?
Okay. Now you're making me unleash to the manhood. Okay, we as men tend to have a certain image that is egotistic. Men don't cry, men don't go through emotions, men are strong, men are like all built up even through emotions. A man is tough physically, but the man is human.
Yeah, definitely.
Physically, yes, but then emotionally we're still creatures that are vulnerable. We go through certain things, but because of the society and how it has always been from what we have been like brought up upon, like, oh, you said men don't cry. So yes, so
that's what we know.
2020, what I went through was one of the most horrible experiences that I've ever had to go through in my entire life. Usually you get stressed out and everything, but that was the first time I felt like I was in a depressed state. Yes, you go through, like, it's normal to have stress. It will put you through a certain pressure to do good, to develop, not to go into drugs, not to like to go into certain things. Like, so stress is good to develop your own growth. Understand? So what I went through, basically I had a woman and I was young. Understand? So like I think I was 20. So okay, I was dating, normally excitement, okay, yes, and then I had a child. Bam, raised a child.
So what, like you guys were like high school sweethearts,
Yeah.
or okay?
Yes.
So you guys dated in high school and then you had a baby after high
Yeah, you can say we dated when I was in high school, and then yeah, after that, like varsity, like I had a baby. So in varsity, I already had a responsibility with my nafsas. I had to like be buying the pampers. You understand? Like, my niggas were going to party. Now they come and be like, "It's your turn." Boom.
So
That's it. You understand?
So okay, you didn't go
Yeah.
party, then be like, "Give one how?"
Exactly.
Okay.
So I was excited. I loved the child. Like the warmth of carrying the sea and like go where I'm all like. So I enjoyed that.
And
Yes.
things like that.
So growing up, as a child grows, knowing me as a dad, there was a time where now me and the baby mama like were no longer like in good terms, and like to a point whereby it was toxic.
So that's how you guys broke up, like when? Like I need to understand.
Okay, she just left, to be quite honest.
What do you mean she just left?
She left. I wasn't working. I was studying. Yeah, I understand. There was no like I was not. And then there were, when you're growing up, they say women mature.
Faster than men,
Yes.
yeah.
So, babang barating she was felt to me like so yeah. Very much very GTI call 5, call 5 is such understand that so Tebza from Baranyana. So yeah, that's how we broke up, and then she left without even saying that she just left. Understand? So I was still supporting the child. I was there, like yeah. I started working fine. Always life went on. My son knew me or things like the time, and he knew me like all the time. He knew, and I used to whisper to him, "Hey, there's no other niggas gonna be your dad. that woman is gonna introduce to like I'm your dad." All the time he knew, like you understand. So I instilled that like in him.
That you
so
used
yeah,
like full
and
time.
then 2020 to fast forward just to make things easier. What happened is that now we had an agreement with the in-laws and my in-laws to say no, it's better for him to stay with his father because he's got a better place where he's staying, school-wise. Understand? So I wasn't happy guy environment that day. As I attended the parent meeting, so development I was concerned as a parent. No, I don't want my son to be raised like this.
So you were like an active parent. You were like, okay, my son is not developing as fast as I hoped. How old was he at this time?
I think he was like 7. Yeah.
Okay, it's like grade 1.
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah. But then Coca started Cassie or whatsoever. Understand? So I wasn't happy and I felt more because when diploma was like
so no diploma is
yeah. And then so come forget extra lessons English like math because understand. And then so he was doing like well there. And then there's this other time because Papa dies again, I'm no longer sending. So now you know how they are. Because no ice again.
Okay.
So now she wanted the child. And I was like, no, I refused.
So what, she wanted the child
because
of the fact that you used to send this much amount of money.
Exactly.
And now you don't send that amount.
Now because I'm staying with the child.
So wait. So how old was the child when you started staying with the child?
7, 8. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened now? So since we refused, one day she went to school with her boyfriend around 2. You know when kids like start knocking after school. Like she took my child.
Wait, so
the boyfriend they're high.
Sorry.
Then later when transport came to collect Amana, an actual notification, my son's nowhere to be found. My mother, like we are worried now.
Wait, hold on, Tebza.
She sends a message.
Like, from the point of you guys breaking up, right? When the child was 8 or 7, you started living with the child because you saw like, okay, go get have and right now you want to just give a better future for your son. You know, like you guys had a breakup, it's fine, she's got a new boyfriend, whatever. But you wanted to give a brighter future for your child, which is understandable, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry about that. I just wanted to understand it.
Yeah.
So and then you rock up at school, the kid is not there.
The kid is not there. Okay, what's happening? Okay, it's fine. Later on, she sends a message to my mother to say that we must not be worried. She took the child. Okay, my mother was at ease.
Not you, your mother.
Yeah, my mother. She sent a message to my mother.
But the child lives with you.
Yeah, but she communicated like that. She didn't like send.
So she didn't speak to you. She spoke to your mother.
Yeah, that's how we communicated. I also sent a message to your mother. Like, that's how toxic it was.
Yo, it was rough, bro. Like you guys. So sorry, man. Tebza, I don't wanna like take you back, but like what I'm trying to understand is like you guys got to a point in your relationship where you weren't talking to her and she wasn't talking to you. You guys would literally communicate with your mothers.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. What? Like it wasn't even like when we spoke to each other, it was just fire.
Like you guys were ready.
So I cut and then I cut it.
But what I'm trying to understand now, Tebza, I'm sure you guys at some point were madly in love with each other. I mean, nobody has a child if they're not madly in love with each other.
No. What's love, man? I was young. 8, 19, 20. Like,
so you basically met a young lady and you had an interaction.
Yeah.
You had sex.
I was trying to, but young, like it was excitement and maybe it developed to a little bit of love when you still think of it how you love your woman now and how you loved when you were 19.
It's different.
Yeah.
I guess because I was always on fire, you know.
Yeah. So you're always on fire even at 19.
Nah, 19 I was always on fire.
Really? What type of fire?
Like Goku, bro.
Oh, okay.
Goku type of fire. So okay, cool. No, I feel
that. So I understand.
So you guys got to a point in your relationship where you moved from being lovers to, I don't know if I'm using the right words, but you guys were enemies. You guys wouldn't even talk to each other, and the only times you guys would talk to each other was because of your son, and you would communicate via your parents.
Yeah.
You would send your mother to say, Mama, buta jail. And then should be
Well
like,
said. You
tell
said
that
it well.
nigga.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Okay.
That's how it was.
Okay, so sorry about stopping you, because I really wanted to understand and be in the middle of the story, you know, like a movie or something.
Yeah.
You know, I just really wanted to understand. So what happened next when you said she kidnapped your son from school?
Yeah, you can even say like that. You kidnapped my
That's a
son
strong
because
word.
of the living arrangement. Yeah, no, it's not just me. The living arrangement that the son stays with the dad. Done.
And before you were sending money to her.
Yeah,
Like,
I was.
Okay, I won't say how much
Yeah.
per month, but okay, you were sending money to her per month. So here she is, her and her boyfriend don't see the money anymore. And the parents have a tavern, of course, and that's where you took your child away because of the living arrangements wasn't proper. You know, the child was starting to be, you know, a child that grows up in a tavern, you know. So then what happened next?
Okay, what happened next was I was angry to a point whereby I was like, month end I'm not even sending anything. But on the very same day, what's funny, a few days later, I'm lying. Like she came with a boyfriend to my complex where I was staying, demanding clothes. And I was like, no, call security to chase them out. Later, the very same night, blue lights.
She sent cops
but
the same night.
Like it was around 10. I was sleeping. I wasn't even aware. Like I was sleeping, and then there's a hard knock. Understand? It's not a normal knock.
Yeah.
Like you understand?
The
I was
cops.
like,
Yeah. No.
so it's, who the fuck is knocking at my door?
Yeah.
Like with that, like they want to break the door, like kicking it. Go. I was like, hey, what? Like literally, I was sleeping around past 10, and I'm waking up to work the following day. So, okay. I wake up, try to peek through the window, I see the blue lights. And then my son is saying, Papi, please open. Hey, man. And I'm like, you know what? They can kick that door as hard as they want. Switch off my light, I went back to bed. I don't want my son to see the trauma that's going to happen. So I'm like, let me go and sleep. They can kick it. If they want to vandalize it, then it's okay. Understand? Because
she came with her son.
She came with my son, 2 police cops, blue lights at the event, plus the boyfriend. Imagine you never.
The boyfriend.
Yeah, bro.
So the boyfriend didn't live in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, imagine my neighbors were the Rasiana, so you know how the flats is it's close to each other. But anyway, fast forward, that's what happened. I told my mother, very same night, as Niketi, the people get and take it fine. And then my mother was like, okay, bring the clothes, give her what she wants. I packed everything in my car. The following morning, I dropped the clothes before I went to work in my mother's house. Then my mother told her, okay, it's fine. When you get time, you can come and collect. She sent a little brother or a nephew, I don't know, yeah. Boom, took the clothes, sharp. Life goes on. Naki Kwadid, who went to I said, sharp.
I mean, she brought
yeah,
the cops
and
to
then
the place.
and then come month end, she's expecting.
Cash.
Now the child is on his side. How? Nothing, mama. 5 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Even second month end, nothing. You understand? How? And then in the middle of the second month, sends court summons.
What?
At my house. My house calls, hey, you have maintenance letters here,
the sheriff dropped it off, eh?
Yeah, not okay. Yeah. Warrant officers, as we call them in South Africa. Yeah, warrant officers. So I was invited to Kwatako Pambridge. This is about doing. So I got there. Here's the maintenance telling me that I haven't been supporting, blah 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 blah.
And how long
this lady brought me here as the father of 1, 2, 3. Are you the father? I agreed, yes, I'm the father. I know the son is my son.
Yeah, I mean, she told you that this is your son.
Not even the parents. I don't know what men are not elders, but it's fine. Even though, understand? So sharp. So this guy is like, here are the demands. What are 2.5 a month, school fees 100% on you, and then you buy clothes twice a year.
Summer and winter,
yeah, summer and winter.
Wait, Tebza,
and
sorry,
then you send monthly.
So, for me, now, I've never been to such a situation. How did they get to 2.5?
No, they touched. She just, I wouldn't say thumbs up. She calculate whatever the child needs. So okay, she uses someone say whatsoever it needs is captain so much. What? She'd add. I mean, like add whatever.
So she basically listed the things that the kid needs, and it reached 2.5.
Yeah, and it'd be like, okay, here's a Capitec account. This is the account that you're gonna put the money into. That's what they. And then they say they want your 3 months bank statement, your 3 months salary advice to see already how much
are you earning, how much can you afford?
Yeah, understand. And then they'll say, okay, it's fine. This is how much you wanna give. Please don't know what you need. So, fine. There was an arrangement. It was placed there. They didn't want to hear my side. I was angry still. Or okay, this guy is taking her side. It's fine. Sharp. Month end again. After she took me to court, I didn't send money. And then now, when I didn't send the money, when they called me the second time, I got someone that be coming together. We're now at the level. We're gonna garnish you, and we're gonna take whatever money we claim, and she can claim whatsoever 4.5 to 5.
So garnish just means like whatever the lady says.
Garnishing order. It's a court order coming from magistrate or going to your HR. Understand? To your HR or your employer saying, "Chuso, una maintenance order 5,000 before salary highly Kenya banking, accounting.
So meaning if you earned 10,000, 5,000 would automatically go that side. Whether you
it doesn't even come to
not,
you.
There's no negotiation.
It doesn't even come to capital. You don't even see. But from HR patala, creditor.
Kind of like medical aid, something like that.
But creditor Capitec, if she ends with Capitec, and then when I get a salary, I'll give 5,000. Understand? And then when I go pay sleep, it will just be, understand, the deductions are okay. Maintenance, more. You have Sky Mola. And
then young Malay account number high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then,
maintenance.
What's next?
So
what did you do?
And then to get to the truth of the news, or what broke me down spiritually, that okay, when I went mad, I was questioning the system. So it wasn't Kapihlali back. I was questioning the system. Yeah, how does the law works? How does the law works? First of all, when they are born, he is the father. How the father, she accepts you, but then they don't really know, are you the father now? Are they paternity? Are the blood? Well, understand. So now I'm inquisitive. I question things. I do not do something I do not understand. So I was questioning, like, what's the process? They just punish people like that. So and they punish you.
Random guy
Understand?
and say, that's my
So I was like, I'm asking this guy. So I'm like, okay, if I'm taking diploma haya okasi udate althabo robala althabo ka weekend shapetse thabo mshapablo, and then during the week nna ke robalele na and then maybe Friday I robalele, and then the doctor says you're 1.5 months pregnant. I'm like, who's the father? As picking this guy.
If she
just,
slept with
no, give me question challenge. Who's the father? Understand? Who's the father? And then like, hey, scam put that question says so, like, you have a right.
You're entitled,
you're entitled to do a paternity if you're doubtful. Like, if you accepted or the child is yours. But okay, it's fine. Let's do it. I want
a DNA test.
Yeah. Just like that. I wasn't going to do it. So I was pushing it
because of that argument.
Yeah. And then I did it. We had a date. They called me, the son, and
the baby mom.
And the son will tell you how
Killing you like, go to the man of
I was like, okay, sharp. They took my blood, I paid that 2.5 in a month later, they call you, they can't release the results when the mother, yeah. So, got data, the results, I'm there, she's not there. They call her, she know it will be fine, they postpone, but I never okay. I come back, I take day after a month, I come back, she's still not there. I'm like, I'm not going to take a day off again, like that's fine. Understanding my work is demanding me. I cannot be coming here. This place here, I'm frustrated and irritated already. Like because of I'm like an irresponsible father or like being forced to give love, you understand? And I was already taking care, understand, of my son. So I was like, okay. They were like, they write a motivation to maturate, then I signed this like advice and then it grants the mandate or by the Bula, they give you the process of cancelling what and it's fine, open them. And they open them.
Wait, before you tell me about the results.
The juice. You want to know the juice?
Who was there at that moment? Like it was you, it was the magistrate, the baby was not there.
No, the magistrate. After the blankets are high,
like the go or like
the
huge chair.
Yeah, that chair, yeah, my lord.
And like
I can't go my lord.
Like, the whole of your HR is like, that guy doesn't look after his kids. He's running away.
You're the worst.
Okay, so when the results were being read, bro, like I need to understand, like it was you, it was the magistrate, it was your woman's lawyer. Right?
No, there was no lawyer.
There was no lawyer.
She wasn't even working for the lawyer. She wasn't working.
So who read the results?
So there was that clerk. There was the magistrate. Understand? She was a lady. Some looking that didn't go so bad, but natural was a time that never came to the bad. So it was September 2022. I think it was on the 23rd. No, not 2020, 2020. Sorry, 2020, not 2020. 2020. So when they read the results, they were like, okay, the probability. They read the statement, because of you cannot understand what, like it says father, it says child, and it says mother. So you can't read that. Then it shows the statement. Then it shows the probability, which is the percentage. Then the statement went as in Zimande is not the son of Titi Liduma. Therefore, you are excluded from being the biological father of the child. And then it shows the probability. Then the probability says 0.0.0.0.0.
So it's just zeros.
Yeah,
it's just zeros.
Then you are not the father.
No, wait, like, because usually they're like, you are 99.9% of the child. You know, there's that 1%. Like, are you meaning like it was 0, 0, 0,
If
0,
there's
0?
an uncle, mang, then yeah.
So you weren't like even biologically related. You weren't even like an uncle. You weren't
Nothing,
even like.
bro. You see, nothing. 10 years of my life, I gave love, I gave finances, I gave the mental state of or after a child. So understand how do you look at a woman after this? And I felt like there was a sinking wave. And my life changed. I looked at women different. I looked at a female version different. I looked at a man different. I turned my back against the world. I had anger. I went back into my normal life. I went back into the workspace to a point whereby there's a manager that she was female because of how I had rage towards female. I held her like against, I pushed her like the wall. Like, she was a manager. I almost lost my job.
What you literally pushed her against the wall?
Like, with something small, Lazama Nkota. So I never had niggas who were there for me. My parents were like, it's fine, you'll be okay. Everybody. So nobody, I confided to nobody but myself. my scapegoat was my beer. So for me to escape through my pain and what I was going through was to pick my glass up.
So, you know,
I cried.
You know what's deep, man? That was my next question. How did what you went through affect you? And when you say you picked up the beer, because necessarily you didn't have the support structure around you, you didn't have your parents or your father to be like, my boy, I went through something like this. You know, nobody around you went through something like this. Like, how did this affect you? I mean, like, how did it affect your mental? How did it affect your hustle? How did it affect your body?
I lost a lot of weight. I used to drink every day.
Every day, like Monday to Friday.
Every day.
And all you
So I
drink,
had to
like
be in
beer
jet ski. For
or
me
like
to escape
bottles?
through my pain, I had to be in jet ski all the time. So I didn't want myself to see myself in a sober state. And then I'd go to work. I used to work like I'm quite busy. Yeah, but then I still had that anger. So anything like that happens with just take it off. Like I friends like listen, I was in like professional, I'd fight with clients and with people, I'd fight with like colleagues, many like you understand.
So you would literally, you were like
road range.
You were like a bomb.
Yeah.
Waiting just no shot cheese.
Like on the road, like I'd accelerate so high, like 200. Like fuck, whether I die or live, it's okay.
So you were feeling very suicidal at that
yeah.
moment.
I felt like I'm F. It's not a place for me. Like,
and this was after 10 years of raising this boy.
Yeah. Putting the child.
Find out that it's not your child.
So, oh God. So I understood what a policeman, a normal guy, what they do to take that gun, kill that child, kill that wife. Like I had that feeling. I understood what they went through. I know exactly the emotions that they went through. But I escaped that. I used to cry every day. I used to like drink every day for me to be able to escape from that space or that. For when I was sober, like I used to think a lot. Like I used to cry. Like I felt naked. I felt like people were talking about me. Like I felt like stupid. I couldn't focus on anything. Studies, work. There was nothing there. So that thing was. Yeah. I guess they tried it at work. I went through a psychologist at some point. It was during COVID. I couldn't. How can I talk to you on the phone? On the phone, you're telling me no, you're gonna feel fine. I was like, fuck you. Like, you understand? So I couldn't go through this telephonically. What are you telling me? Like, you don't know what I'm going through. And then, so
it's too deep, bro. So my guy, I fully understand what you're going through. You went through a toxic situation where here's this woman, she's pretending that the child is yours. She's been pretending for like 10 years. And on the 10th year, you found out that it's not your child. So you were depressed, you were drinking every day, you were just going through the most, you know? You were always angry. How did you pull yourself out of that situation?
I'm not quite sure if she really knew. She knew or she didn't knew, but I think it's a matter of you slept with a few guys and then you select the one that you feel you're gonna benefit the most of the babies. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you're a king, bro.
She grew up, he's from in a certain environment, and I'm gonna select him as the father. You understand? So it's a matter of that. And then
this is the situation.
Yeah, you understand? So I started reading psychology. You want to know how I became an escape? I became an scapegoat of what I was going through. So
how did you get out of it?
Basically, as guys, we don't get validation, we don't get love. A woman can cry to your friend. A woman can cry to you as a guy. A woman can call, but when you expected to be tough because of you're a man. You expected to man up because you're a man. You expected to take everything as it comes. But then men are human as well. Understand? Like
Yeah, people
like,
first.
You understand? Yeah. So I cried a lot. The crying didn't help. So I had my grandma. My grandma took me to church. I don't know if I'm not gonna lie. She took me to church. I read. No. No, much not ZCC.
The wrong thing is ZCC.
No. So because I was drinking every day, so during the week after work, she'd be like, "Hey, come to attend." Yeah, understand.
So your grandma took you to church all the time?
Yeah, all the time. That's why Side Guru. I used to read Side Guru's articles a lot.
Who's Side Guru? I don't know Side Guru. Because I understand the church aspect, you know, like church is church, bro.
Yeah.
But like when you say Side Guru, what? Or who's Side Guru?
Like he's a guru, like like he gave advice in terms of the biology of the body. So you control, you are in control of your thoughts. So
Tebza, right now, right? The whole point of the show, right, is that we need to learn from other people's mistakes and learn from whatever. I don't want to say mistakes because mistakes sounds like such a harsh word. But I want to say we want to learn from other people's experiences. You told us about toxic relationships. You told us about baby mamas that are trying to like break you down. You told us about manhood in general. So what I want to know is like, if me as Tuso or somebody else or whoever's watching the show is going through what you went through right now, what would you say to me to bring me back to the light? The same way you came back to the light, how would you pull me towards the light?
So, as the gurus would say, and as the articles that I've read from the side gurus, what happens to you is not your choice, or what life throws at you is not your choice. So this is what life threw at me, but how I take it and how I unleash it or how I act out of it, I'm the one who's in control. Do I react on the anger? Do I nest the feelings and say I'm the nanny of how I feel like and like entertain that? Most of the time we tend to dwell on how we feel compared to, okay, it's reality, it happened, it could happen to the next person, you, but then you more focused on how you feel and what you're going through, or that boom, understand? So you're not in control of that. Like, it happened, yes, but you have no insurance of like how you want to like get yourself out of the situation. But so life is an experience. That's one thing you need to know. That's one thing you need to accept. What you go through
is part of the journey.
Exactly.
So there's no way of like,
you prepare yourself in a mental state. You prepare yourself enough to say whatever it is that hits me, as much as like it's gonna hurt, as much as it's gonna break, but then how you react to it, you do not dwell on it. When you are young, you hurt a lot. Hence why someone who's younger and someone who's a bit older, like how they react to heartbreaks is quite different.
Yeah, definitely.
So this one is, they've lived, they're more mature, they're more wiser, they've got more wisdom on how to handle.
They'll move on faster compared to the younger person.
Talking about manhood, we don't accept like heartbreak or like an emotional state. So accept it. Go through your emotion as a man. Like cry. Choose Eamon. Like I'm fucked with it. Like understand. Like unleash. That's what I'm trying to say.
The thing is, sorry to cut you off. But me as a man, as a guy, I've got nobody that I could cry to. You know, if I go on my family and cry to them, I'm that beacon. I'm that pillar of strength that they need. I can't cry to them. I go to my brother, he's already ready to cry too. He's been waiting for me to come to him, you know. And what I've noticed in my whole circle of life is that all the guys that I meet are ready to cry, but they haven't had the opportunity to cry, you know. So I want to know, like, from a perspective of, like, we already know this, you know. You get to the Owens, you get to Majida, you know, they just want to drink. They don't even care about what you're saying. You get to the people that are going through something the same as you, they want to talk about them, and they don't have a chance or a moment for you. So I want to know, like, you know, we were talking about this earlier on. When I say lekgotla, I mean like that whole situation where you're sitting with your grandfather, you're sitting with your father, you're sitting with your cousin, and you're literally having a fire there, and you're having a conversation to say, listen, when you're a man, you go through this and that and that and that. Because, listen, man, I'm not trying to diminish whatever you went through, but I can guarantee you that your great grandfather or the father before that or your other grandfather went through something like that, and he spoke to people. And the reason why we're not healing is because we don't speak to anyone, you know. You want to pretend like you're a tough guy for your woman, you want to pretend like you're a tough guy for your friends, you want to pretend like you're a tough guy at work, and no one is a tough guy, bro. Like, I don't want to lie to you. Like, even Superman, I'm sure Mwale, Wallah, he's like saying, like, can somebody be a Superman for me?
Yeah.
You know, Superman doesn't have no Superman for him. Batman doesn't have a Batman for him. You know, like, all of our heroes have no heroes for them. You know, and I want you to currently be that hero, that be the hero to other people. You know, like, how did you do it, bro? Like, I'm looking at you right now with so much enthusiasm and inspiration to say, how did you do it? Because I would crash. I would literally fake my death and go to Zimbabwe. And you are still here in SA doing the things.
You need to vent out. No man is an island. Rome was not built in one day. Dubai is not Dubai, but Dubai is Dubai because of people. It's an attraction site. People go there, and it's people, it's not a person because of innocent. So it's a collective. So, and what you go, allow yourself to go through the pain. That's it. Allow yourself to go through the pain. Don't bottle the pain. Don't
turn away from it.
Turn it. Yeah, exactly. Don't put it like that shoulder, like you're a woman, like. So if you feel like crying, cry. That's what I did. That's what I started doing. Like I just started vocalizing and like addressing it and like being out there. Listen, when I was quiet, that's where like I was in a state where I was in a suicidal state.
So when you were quiet, you were suicidal?
I was suicidal. Dangerous. I was suicidal. Listen, if I had a firearm, like I would have been a danger to the next person, whatsoever. Like, so the people around me were affected because of how I reacted. Because I wasn't talking what I was feeling or what I went through. It affected them because of how I reacted. Road rage, small things like drinks, like women, like I didn't really care how the next person felt about me at work, like whatever. Mm-hmm. So I started opening up. I started going to gym. So the pain that I felt, when I felt that my muscles were tearing up, like I even like go on more and more. So when I reached my max, that's when I felt that I'm actually free. Pain is what we need to go through for us to grow. It's what gives us wisdom. We grow through it. It's normal. And if this didn't happen to me, who am I expecting it to be? Like, am I expecting it to be my neighbor? To be you? Like, listen. So I'm actually glad that I went through this experience because of I feel that I'm in a better mental state. The reason why I'm saying I'm in a better mental state is that the next person who's gonna go through whatever pain, like whatsoever, like that they like can go through, I don't think there's anything that would actually like beat the kind of pain that you're saying.
I mean, deception, man.
Exactly,
You spend
like being
years
yeah.
living like this, but only to find out that it's a lie. You know. Listen, man. On the show, we commend you, brother. You know, you went through something that only we can talk about. You know, not everybody's gonna go through that,
and there are people out there. They're still raising kids who are not there. They're doubtful to bunch.
You know,
you're doubting, but yeah.
Remember Jola 99, like the first episode. Challenge you know. But yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming through and sharing your spirit and letting the people know on the show that you know they're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody that comes on the show has a broken way that just needs to be repaired and they can fly and touch the sky. And thank you so much, bro, because right now you probably touched somebody deep down inside their heart that was going through what you were going through, or even worse, or something similar, you know, and they were able to pick themselves up from what you just said right now. And I thank you so much. Thanks, Tebza.
All the tea. Thanks. We need to unleash.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the wrap up of the show. Thank you so much for tuning into Mind Body Hustle. Please don't forget to subscribe. And that was Tebza right now, and he was giving us the things, man. He was giving us the juice, the tea, and the knowledge that you would have had to live for 32 years. 32 years to understand. But today you understood it in like what, an hour? So thank you so much, and thank you to the director, which is my wife, and I love my baby so much. Thank you.